I'm going to need you guys out there to go ahead and fasten up your seatbelts for this one. I'm going to say some things that are specifically going to challenge your previously held assumptions and beliefs. But just stick with me to the end. And I think you're going to find that we're going to talk about a topic that's so important, essentially the fate of masculinity, men, and Western civilization might just hang in the balance to the answer that I'm going to put forth. When we talk about what are the problems that men are facing right now, what always comes up? You've got the male loneliness epidemic, you've got plummeting testosterone levels, you've got declining marriage rates, which inevitably leads to declining birth rates, all of which are strong indicators of civilization in decline. But there's one thing that actually can undo all of these negative indicators. And ironically, it's the one thing that many people have talked bad about. So what am I talking about? I'm going to tell you that all that matters for a man is chasing pussy. Now, I realize that's an outlandish statement in itself because the last time you heard it seriously proposed was probably from your uncle with a big mustache on his third beer at the family barbecue when he started going off about how, wow, you really need to get out there and chase tail, date lots of beautiful women, and then get yourself a really good one and have a couple kids. And because it came from that unlikely source, you discounted it. Does this mean that everyone is wrong? That chasing pussy is actually a good thing? And I'm going to say, yes, that is exactly what I'm saying. That it's kind of funny that the far left woke woman is going to talk bad about men pursuing women because that's objectifying women or that's bad or that's toxic masculinity. And the person who's the most hardcore red-pilled guy is going to agree with her and say, no, you should follow the Tony Montana model of first you get the money, then you get the power, then you get the girl. And I'm going to show you why, indeed, they're both wrong for differing reasons, but yet they're both wrong. And in order to understand that, we've got to look at what makes up a man's life. If we look at your life from the Asian holistic model, there's essentially 4 life pillars that everything in your life is going to fall into one of these 4 buckets: your health, your wealth, your relationships, and your higher purpose. These relate directly to a sexual market variable for the man. Health is your looks. Your wealth is your money and status. Relationships, here we're talking about game, learning how to get good with women for the purposes of romance in a structured and methodical way. And your higher purpose is your higher purpose. Everything in a man's life is going to fall into one of these 4 buckets. Let's go ahead and look at them in a bar graph form. Essentially, when we line them up side by side, each of the 4 pillars, health, wealth, relationships, and higher purpose, they want to reach a state of equilibrium, meaning, let's say your wealth is extremely low. You're going to feel like something's wrong. Like you don't have enough money to go out and see a movie. You don't have enough money to go on dates. You're inevitably, by nature, going to want to work on that pillar and boost it up until it reaches some level where it's in homeostasis. It's in a balanced level with the other ones. Similarly, if your health is way down, you're just going to feel worn out, tired. You'll feel like your testosterone level's low. So you're going to raise it up. Same thing with the relationships. If you're living in a small town in Minnesota and there's only 3 attractive girls in the entire town, your relationships bar might be incredibly low. You're going to work on boosting that up, right? You're going to have feelings of positivity when everything is in balance. Same thing with your higher purpose. If it's extremely low, you're going to feel soulless and lifeless, like there's no deeper meaning. And so you'll be encouraged internally to work on that, and it'll come up to some level where everything stays in balance. Let's look at each one of these more in depth. So, with our health, if our health goes up, right, we really work on it. We get a personal trainer. We put all of our time, effort, and focus into health. The other three pillars may go up or they may stay exactly where they are. Health is operating independently of the other pillars. So as health goes way up, it may indeed cause you to start making more money, have better relationships. It could boost them up. Or it could just leave them down at this low level, in which case you basically become a gym cell, right? Like everyone knows some guy who all he does is work out, so he never has any money. Of course, his romantic relationships, unless she's in the gym, are non-existent. And higher purpose, he probably doesn't even know what that is because he just focuses so intently on the physical. So you could be a gym cell. Then with wealth, if our wealth, let's say we become a multimillionaire through hard work and effort, and now we have a lot more money than we did before, it's operating independently from the other three pillars. Our health, relationships, and higher purpose may stay down there, or they could also rise. Okay? We could start eating better. We could start going to the gym. We could get more relationships through our networking. Even our higher purpose could go up, but it's not forcing them to. They could stay down at a low level, and then essentially you're that man that's the workaholic who never works out, who neglects their health, whose relationships are non-existent or they're in a shambles, and who totally doesn't have a higher purpose beyond the accumulation of wealth. So again, wealth is operating independently of the other three life pillars. What about higher purpose? Let's say you really focus on your higher purpose. You become deeply spiritual. You get into meditation. You get into lots of meditation retreats and yoga retreats, and your higher purpose is just on point. It becomes outstanding. Well, it's going to operate independently. It may move your relationships up or down, or they may stay down at a low level, right? They could rise. You could improve your health through the yoga. You could even start making money as a yoga trainer, and maybe you'll meet lots of people in your relationships, but it doesn't force that to happen. They could stay down at a low level, and then essentially you're that yogi guru type who's isolated themselves in a cave, who, of course, their health plummets, their wealth is non-existent, and it's hard to have relationships if you live in a cave. So your higher purpose pillar is operating independently of the other ones. Well, what about relationships? Here's where something different happens. Essentially, as a person discovers game and starts working on their relationships, what it's going to do is it forces the other ones to rise, lest it not rise any higher, right? Now, is it as smooth as I'm depicting here? No, it's not. How this actually happens in reality is someone discovers game. They read the game, they learn the mystery method. All of a sudden they discover red pill content. They start watching Rollo Tomasi. They learn about relationship management. They're super excited. They start working on their game, their romantic relationships, how to attract women and how to keep them in their life. So they start working on it. And a funny thing happens. As relationship starts rising, it forces these other variables to go up. They start working out. They improve their grooming. They have to have more money to go on dates. And then essentially they get to a level where just after beginner, that's as good as they're going to get. If their health, their wealth, and their higher purpose stay at these levels, they will be a beginner, whether it's for 1 month, 1 year, or 10 years, they're stuck at that level. They won't get any better. They're as good as the person who started can be. What this does is, in reality, now it forces them, oh, okay, I can't get any better, but I'm still working on my relationships. So, oh, lo and behold, I start dressing better. I start grooming better. I buy a gym membership. Now I'm working out all the time. I get up to this level. Okay. And same with my wealth. Oh, I take on a second job, or I start coaching people on the side as a side hustle. My wealth goes up. And my higher purpose. I discovered meditation, what it is. So I'm playing around with that. I'm listening to Alan Watts. I'm finding out about my deeper meaning in life. So that goes up. Once your health, wealth, and higher purpose have started to jump up, what happens at this glass ceiling that relationships hit? Oh, now it can go up again. So what happens is it starts rising. And a funny thing happens. It starts dragging up these other ones. Because as you work on relationships, it forces the other ones up even more. And again, you break through intermediate and then you stop. About halfway to advanced, that's as good as you're ever going to get. Here's where many guys quit. They're working on their relationships and then they just stop advancing. They may stay in intermediate for 1 month, 1 year, or 10 years, but if their health, wealth, and higher purpose don't go up, they cannot advance. They'll basically become the best intermediate in the world, but they won't advance. So what happens? They go back to their health. Now they actually start buying suit coats. They start putting together a serious workout plan and working on their health. Oh, now they start dyeing their hair. Oh, they start fixing their red flags. They start using Botox if they need it. They start whitening their teeth. But either way, they start improving their health in serious ways. Then on their wealth, oh, they told their boss that they wanted a raise or they were going to change. They didn't get the raise, so they moved to a new company. Now they're making even more money, and it pushes them way up there. And same thing with higher purpose. They've been going on meditation retreats. They've really gotten into yoga. They're doing breath work now. Their higher purpose is like shot up. What does that do? Now that glass ceiling in their relationships, they can break through it and move towards the next one. And right about the time they're moving on to a new level, what does it start doing? It starts pulling on these other life pillars again. As relationships goes up, it starts pulling on their health, wealth, and higher purpose. And again, now they get up to a new level. Now they're advanced. But they just can't get to that top G level. They fall short. They'll stay advanced for the rest of their life unless they improve their health, wealth, and higher purpose. So what happens is, on their health, now they're just not downloading workout plans. Now they have a personal trainer, a dietitian, and a consultant who's really helping them push up their health. Now, let's say they get maxed out right here. And then on their wealth, oh, they've taken on more responsibility at work. Now they're managing multiple people. They've gotten a new promotion. Oh, and they're investing money, and they're investing in crypto. Now their wealth is shot way up to here. And their higher purpose. Oh, now they've discovered subconscious reprogramming, and they're really working on themselves. Oh, now their higher purpose has shot up. What does this do? Back to relationships. That glass ceiling that they never would have been able to break. Oh, now, because there's a new them, because all the life pillars have been going up, now it can shoot up and they break into the top G mode. And this is why relationships is the one life pillar that forces the other life pillars to go up. So, what can we take away from all this? Essentially, what I want you guys to take away after watching this entire presentation is that learning game, focusing on your relationships life pillar, is the tide that raises all the other boats. By chasing pussy, you are working on your romantic relationships, which is the only life pillar that can force the other ones to improve. Okay, hopefully you guys stuck with me to the end, and hopefully I've changed the way you look at things. This has been Guy Gambit, the social tactician.